Supercoaches, it is team reveal time. And I did do one a couple of months ago. A few things have changed and plenty has not in that same time frame. We've got a bit of an idea on cheapies now. We have had a change in fullback. Did have Latrell in there and that's changed. So it'd be cool to go back and check the differences there. It's Friday night. I'm making this video. I'm busy all day tomorrow. I haven't exactly locked in the side, but what I have locked in is definitely the Vegas players. Although I'm pretty keen on Ali Leata'ua. I think he's going to have a really, really good season. And if you are jumping on him, I'm a little bit jealous. I have him over Roger in that center wing structure. But both of those guys are not in my side right now. The people that are in my side from Vegas are going to be Luke Metcalf. So I'm going to start him in the 5'8 slot. Nathan Cleary. Right now, he's going to be my vice captain. I will see how that team lines up. And they are up against a pretty tough side. So there's definitely another world where you do vice captain. I now have Ponga and Turbo as my two fullbacks along with Yongi. I did think for one microsecond that I might go the triple guns. And I just looked how strong the side was without that setup. And then Yongi looked really, really good in that couple of trial games. So I'm super happy with how he played. I'm locking him in the side. I will play him in round one as well. But obviously, some parts of this side may not be completely set in stone. And there's only one thing that I'm worried about, I should say, in the side. And that is the center wing with the pairing I've got right now of Greg Marzhew and Dylan Lucas. It's double knights. They're two more expensive guys and more reliable guys in the side. And one, that's the reason why I want to start with them. But it means I have Ponga, Greg, and Lucas. And look, we're going to have a host of cheapies in this center wing section. I do have Ruben Garrick as well. We've got Sione Finau. We have Jackson Purdue. We have Jihamat Shibasaki, who now I'm thinking of it, might be a slight worry if he doesn't play round 4. And I do have Greg and Lucas out. So this is as I said, the section I'm a little bit worried about. And then Rob Toyer as well. So I may have to look into maneuvering something in that section just to make sure it does set up well. But if not, we may have a forced trade in that round 4 in this center wing. That's probably the big question. And that's something I will tinker with, but we don't have to worry about that coming into Vegas. So Rob Toyer is the other one, as I said. Moving on to the 5'8s, we do have Luke Metcalf and Matt Burton. So Burton didn't look incredible on the weekend in that trial, but I am backing him in for the season. And he has been in my side since the app opened, and he's not going to be leaving it. So I'm happy to roll with that this year. I think that the dogs improve, and I'm backing that he goes to an extra little level and is very, very durable. And that's the big thing I want for him. Unlikely to play Origin, and I'm very, very happy just to hold him in that 5'8 slot for the entirety of the season. I think Metcalf will change at some point, and there are other good 5'8s, obviously in Dylan Brown and these types of players, but I also think Dylan Brown, with Moses there and Lomax on that right-hand side, there is a small chance that he doesn't see really, really good ball, and he's got Katoga likely on his outside. So you're worried about that combination compared to like someone like Kelmer, who has some attacking upside when he decides to run the footy, and Lomax on that right-hand side with Mitch Moses. That's the little question I have around Dylan Brown, but I think he's a terrific pick. And then you got Munster as well, who I think is great, but I'm just going to lock and load with Burton. That's where we're at. Cleary and Duffy. All right, we get to second row forwards, and in that section, I'm excited about Jacob Preston. He's also been the team since day dot, along with Alex Seyfarth, once I got the idea that he was going to be in that starting edge spot. At 435 is terrific base and scores the odd try as well. He ran enough in that trial to suggest that he'll be able to get sort of 10 to 15 points on the running side without any any power on his base. And really, really solid, really, really happy with that setup. Early on, I also had the build of having Watson with a couple of cheapies in Mamazelis and Sanders Smith, and I've stuck with that for now. I didn't have it for a good portion, and Watson's only just made it back into the side. I also have 191,000 in the bank right now for potential changes following Vegas. As I said, with guys that didn't end up showing you, is that Horsburgh and Zach Hosking are in the side. So it's Horsburgh, Hosking. We have Valmaga on the bench there at the moment. We'll see if that changes or if you hear anything more on different cheapies. But I think for now, he's going to be in that side long term, and I think that he'll make some cash at 232. with Cleary and Metcalf. So just the 5 players and 4 starters out of the 18, 17 of 18 we get, obviously. 4 is in Vegas. So it's nothing crazy and gives me plenty of flexibility coming into the following week in 1B. So Hoskins in there with Preston, Seyfarth, and Watson. Very, very happy with that. And I think that's what allows me to play 2 cheapies on my bench. Upside-wise, I think Seyfarth's going to make some good money and he's fairly safe. Preston, tremendous upside for me at 609k. I just love him and want him in my side. The combo with Burton, obviously on the left and the right. I think one of them is going to get some type of attacking stat each week. Gee, it'd be nice if Preston could, but Burton should do. And goal kicking as well. So I'm excited for the Dogs in that standpoint. And then Hosking, I think that he has the upside and I'm going to roll with it. And my question for me right now is I need to have Hosking in my fantasy almost Supercoach team, one of them. And at the moment, he's sitting in the Supercoach team and I'm trying to work out how I get him into the fantasy team. Just with I really like him as a player as well and the upside that he does possess if they happen to start pretty well in Vegas. So Valmarga and the Lockie Hubner, he's just currently sitting there right now. That one cheapie spot definitely is up for grabs next week in TLT. Moving to the front row forward, it's Terrell May and Horsburgh. Stock set on that, have been for a long time. Super excited about it. And then I've gone Tino, and I didn't have him for a while there. I saw him in that trial. He looked really, really good. And I do expect him to get back to at least 50 minutes in that first few weeks. And in 50 minutes, we saw, in that trial, he played, about 30 or whatever it was, and he picked up like 35, 40 points in that trial. So that was awesome. All in base, had an offload in there, great to see. So I think at 531k, it just saves a headache of trying to trade him in a bit later. And in round 3 and 4, especially when we've got guys coming into price changes and price rises, hopefully, and drops. More rises than drops, please, in my side. But if I'm looking to target someone that's going to have a nice little run of price gains, then I don't have to worry about trying to get Tino in round 4 or round 3, or if he starts really well. So has the dual 531k. It's hard to take him out now that he's in. And then might be a little bit controversial, but right now I'm going to be rolling with a straight up looper. We have 26 players, and that's something you've got to think about. Compared to fantasy, you can't do this. No way, shape, or form. We've seen, it's really, really easy to do that in Big Bash Supercoach. In NRL Supercoach, when you've got a section like the front row forward and the second row where you've got 5 bench spots between them, I think having someone that you can loop between the two is really, really ideal, to be honest. And you don't need to make money with every single part of your team, but being able to move someone between those sections at 198k, just drops down that price point there for you and allows you to put some more money into the rest of the side. That's where I think something like that can work. And I'm not completely locked in on it, but I think right now it looks really good. And I do have to work out what to do with the 191. It can definitely sit there and we can work it out over over round 1, or at least over this first bit and wait till TLT. I think it might change slightly. And I do have to work out what I'm going to do with this section down here. I am a little bit worried. I really want Lucas in the side, but I'm also worried about the double knights. And then obviously Ponga as well, but we can cover that fairly easily with Turbo and Yongi, obviously, if they are on the side. So it's something to note, and I do have that extra cash to do something in that side, but do I wait and leave it and wait till round 2 and round 3 and 4 to be able to use that cash to get the guys we want and pivot quickly? I do think that sitting somewhere between that 50 and 150k is pretty ideal. Under that can be a little bit tough. Over that could be a little bit of overkill, like this 191 I'm sitting at right now. But again, this reveal, I will do another reveal next week. I just wanted to jump in with this one, obviously show the side and show you what I've changed over the last month or so from when I did this reveal. But just really get out to you the guys that I will be taking into Vegas, and that's Horsburgh, Hosking, Valmarga not playing, and then Cleary and Metcalf in my starting halfback and 5/8. And I'm going to work out if I'm going to be VCing Cleary or not. And obviously having Tino and Simpkins there on my bench, they can easily move into a looping situation for the vice captaincy. So that's the side. I was contemplating just having Watson up at the Mamazella spot, but I do think with Jamie Humphries moving into the 6 or the 7. Sounds like Walker definitely won't be ready for round 1, but might miss a few weeks there, just gone back into running. So Mamazelis likely to play fairly big minutes. They'll have someone to cover a little bit, but how much? Is it 15, 20? Is it 10? We don't know. And Pete's obviously played 80 before as well. So with that news, I think I'm just going to lock him in to start. Take the score, see what happens. He could be one of my lowest scores. He could go really well. We don't know. But I'm not prepared to really play the roulette at hooker this year. So that's where Watson comes in. He'll work his butt off. And I think I've got a lot of these guys in the side across the board that I'm not tremendously worried about hitting a really low floor. I'm going to take a flyer on someone like Finau in round 1. Shibasaki, these types of players that if their team goes really well, he could score some tries and could score really well. And that's what Finau, if he gets that spot, he'll be in. If he doesn't, then I'll probably upgrade that spot with the 190k, to be fair, and lock in a Howarth or something like that I have been looking at. And I did have for a lot of the preseason Jack Howarth there in that first reveal that I had a while ago. So there you go. Captaincy wise, Turbo's got the C on it right now. We'll work out if we do a C on him or Ponga or the vice captaincy on either of those guys a little bit later, and we'll make those final decisions. But I just think strategy wise, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. You can go the triple fullback. You can get Hines, which I have thought of, but I'm a Cowboys fan. We're going to get Duffy in there in some way, shape or form, and very, very cheap. If it works out, then it's great. If it's not, we can do some maneuvering with guys like Sandon Smith, can come down to half. We can use the flex. We can get him out for one of the other cheapies. If I've got cash in the bank, like all those sorts of things you do have to think about when you're putting your side together. And I find that really helpful just to have those potential plans if things don't go right. And obviously we haven't got, this isn't completely locked in because we haven't got the team list for 6 games to come. But once that's set up, I'll have a clear plan for what I want to do if things go wrong with certain guys that don't make the side round 2 or 3 or whatever it is. And guys like Tamale, I think I'll be taking him in fantasy, and there's a little bit of a worry on him keeping his spot. And I do think with having 3 weeks until prices change, I think we can just take a flyer on leaving him out in this one and make my decisions on this center wing because it's something I'm not set on. So that's where I'm leaving him out of this one. You could slot him in that starter spot, but if all going well and Finau's in that side round 1, I want to play him. So Tamale, I just thought we'll just leave him out for now and we can trade him in if something changes. Make sure you guys jump in to the JBFA overall league down in the description. If you are interested in the private group, I talk Supercoach in there. It's a lot of fantasy, obviously. There's plenty of prizes up for grabs as well. And I can help you out one-on-one by thinking of joining that. That's really helpful for you guys, and I appreciate that. And if you are a New Zealand resident, I will pop the information for the awesome league that they're doing for NRL Fantasy. So if you're an NRL Fantasy player, jump into that, go onto the Instagram, hit follow, and follow the prompts on their pinned post. Thanks so much, Supercoaches. Let me know what you think of this side, if there's any type of strategy or something you do in that centre wing that's a little bit different to what I'm thinking there. We've obviously got guys like Skelton, you've got guys like Letua that could pop in, Tungo, these types of players. So there's a few things you can do in that spot, and then I could, if I dropped Lucas down, I could upgrade one of these other guys, or I could upgrade in my second row forward. I could get another, good front rower. There's a few options like that, but none of them sound perfect. Like I think I'm happy with the cheapies I've got in certain positions, and that's where the Lucas one works. Go up to Val Holmes and do something fun like that. The Finau Val Holmes combo. You got Herbie. Plenty of different options for this side coming into Sunday. I will obviously be thinking about it through that time, but I don't have time. I've got cricket all day tomorrow. Hopefully my schoolboys do really well. And then we're into it on Sunday, and I've still got to do my fantasy reveal. So getting it all done, guys. Thanks so much for watching this one, and I hope you have enjoyed the preseason with me and with all other creators and learning so much. And I'm doing things differently this year. I spent very heavy in 5/8 in the halfbacks, in the fullbacks last year, spending up tremendously, and really didn't spend up much at all in the centre wing and the second row forward, and I felt like that hurt me last year. And at least having the cover in the hooking slot, I shouldn't have to trade in that position for a while, which is another error that I have made last year. We're locked in with front rowers. Tino Horsburgh can go into second row as well, and we can move things around if things work out with guys like Stefano and all these types of players. So have all these thoughts in your mind when you're going through your sides. I wish you guys all the best of luck in Vegas on Sunday. This will be my last Supercoach video before then. If you like the stuff, do subscribe. Let me know in the comments, and we'll catch you in the review videos and seeing how we go on the weekend.